TNC's turn to pick.
Seconds remaining. Radiant team's turn to ban.
To do it, or if it's Virtus Pro, the favorites, I think, in this matchup, Rex.
Yeah, I would say so as well. Definitely the favorites.
So, it is going to start things off here in the draft with a couple of... Wow, this is a very quick draft so far. A lot of picks, a lot of bans. No reserve time pretty much used at all. And some interesting bans at that. The Dark Willow ban coming out, the Razor Naga, which is not that unexpected, the Chen, the Terrorblade, the Omni Knight, and now the Broodmother. TNC not trying to get 5th pick brooded, or just brooded in general in this game.
You know, this is very normal from VP, Sand King Disruptor, very basic common opener. And then you look at TNC, Gyrocopter, Earth Spirit. While that is also common, TNC previously in the tournament have picked Gyro 4th.
Someone disconnected.
We've always seen them go back to the, they've been picking Puck. Like every game in the first two, right?
And it's not a Puck that you think, okay, this is Armel playing, or this is Sam H playing. You don't know who's playing.
They both played it.
They have such a good Puck on both of those players that they could put it in any position they want. And maybe they go back for it. It is available. But they will start off with a Gyrocopter for a Raven, which he's had a really good time with so far.
Yep.
Meanwhile,
TNC actually banned at the Puck.
That is a little surprising, but
he's really... Oh, Jesus. I did it again. This is 2018.
Yeah.
Puck identifies as a fairy dragon.
Yeah, exactly. Slacks was really proud that you said this earlier
Write
today.
that one down in the books.
Yeah,
it's true.
Write it down, folks.
It's very important to be accurate.
Yes, but the Puck is taken out, so Virtus Pro won't have that at their disposal, nor will TNC. Virtus Pro, in terms of what Ramses has been picking or playing, it's been a lot of Jug. I think they've played Terrorblade on him as well.
Whenever I see Ramses, I think Terrorblade. He has played a lot of Juggernaut this tournament too.
Yeah, but for good reason to think about Terrorblade. And that hero is still strong now, as we've seen today.
Yeah, and TNC also happened to ban out Terrorblade in the first phase, too,
right?
So they don't have to play up against that.
So no Terrorblade available. Enchantress, which I thought would be picked more this tournament, but it does come out, I think, for the second time today.
You know, this hero is very strong, but the problem with this hero is that she's situationally good and situationally completely garbage in the offlane.
Completely garbage.
Yes, completely garbage.
Okay, but
specifically in the offlane. From the 4 position, it's a bit more stable, but it's so matchup dependent in the offlane that sometimes you end up playing against these lanes and these heroes that can easily kill you through the heal or the untouchable.
So what are those heroes that can actually destroy her in lane? What would you consider a good matchup for that here, or an unfavorable matchup for Enchantress?
They're pretty shit heroes, to be honest. Things like Ursa.
Okay.
Lifestealer. I mean, Lifestealer's not
Don't you talk that way about Ursa, okay? He's going to come back someday soon, and it's going to be amazing.
I hope not. He kind of sucks.
Really?
Yeah, really.
You don't like Ursa? I mean, I know he's bad, but just general feelings aside.
But I lean against Ursa. I don't like him.
That's true. You are an offlane player. I forget about that sometimes.
Yeah.
But
I'd say Batrider's like one of the better heroes that's not complete trash that ends up playing against Enchantress a lot of the time.
That's a very specific matchup that happens. Two offlaners going against each other for the most part.
Exactly.
You have to get that aggressive try going in one of those matchups.
Yep, and then TNC can also tailor their draft in a way they can change up the lane so Enchantress has that favorable matchup, because when she does have that good matchup, she takes over the catapult, ends up being able to push down that tier 1 super quickly, but when she doesn't, it's nowhere near the same. She is essentially a carry hero, right? And when you don't get off to a good start with that sort of carry hero, especially from the offlane position, which is used as a space mech most of the time, you just run into some big problems.
They will go for the next Assassin for TNC, and Virtus Pro will go for the Lifestealer next, a hero that has seen a lot of play in this tournament.
That's a really good Lifestealer pick. You're playing up against the Nyx Assassin, you ignore the Carapace, Enchantress, you can ignore the Untouchable,
yeah.
And then you can dodge out all the magic damage from Jaro, and then look at your vehicle too. You've got Sand King, one of the best.
This is a very good Lifestealer game. I agree with you. I haven't been sold on Lifestealer so far this tournament. I'm not sure what the win rate is, but the games I've seen, it hasn't done particularly well.
He's a weird hero that doesn't... I feel like a lot of his impact in the game isn't shown because it's a lot of off-map stuff, you know, where he's sitting off the map farming jungle camps, enemy team plays scared because they don't know if he's infested inside of a Sand King who is also potentially off-map, right?
Yeah.
So from the enemy perspective, it looks really scary when these two heroes are both off-map.
The Nyx Assassin will at least help in that regard with some scouting with Vendetta.
Oh yeah, big time. And Nyx Assassin also has some counterplay to it. If you do happen to spot the Infest gank coming out, you can pop the Carapace. Then when Lifestealer uses Infest, he deals damage, gets stunned directly out of the Infest, and he can't reach.
Yeah. And that's going to be critical for the Nyx Assassin if he's not Burrow Struck or Static Stormed or something along those lines.
Right.
There's in fact 2 silences for Death Prophet has one, the Disruptor has the other to work. So
yep.
Something to consider for TNC.
But there's a lot of damage on the side of Virtus Pro in the form of Death Prophet and then all these early magic damage abilities in the Disruptor and Sand King. And then while TNC also have a ton of magic damage, they're playing up against the Lifestealer. And then there could be a potential BKB purchase from the Death Prophet too.
Yeah.
They need some heavy physical damage. Enchantress, while she does do a lot of pure damage, she needs a good start. And you might not get that up against the Lifestealer lane.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll see if they want to try to finagle the lanes differently for TNC as they have the Enchantress. Right now, we're waiting on, I would assume, the mid laner for TNC. They could theoretically play the Gyrocopter mid, as we've seen a couple of teams do recently. I don't know if you want to play that against a Death Prophet, though. This
trio is so weird. Earth Spirit, Enchantress, Nyx Assassin. Going where?
It's very strange, right?
Is this going to be like some double roam action from Enchantress and Earth Spirit?
Maybe the Nyx just sits mid. I mean, this is what we've seen before against Death Prophets, where the Nyx Assassin will sit mid and just ban mana burn. So that's something you can consider for TNC.
Yeah, that does happen. It's just, I just don't know what roles they're going to play. Right? Who is the support? Who's going to be offlane?
It feels like 2 4.5s and maybe the Enchantress is the 3, something like that.
Earth Spirit's not a 5-position hero.
No.
This guy needs levels. He wants to run around and make things happen on the map, but I guess it could work with the dual roam setup with Enchantress, but that means you have a core Nyx Assassin offlane against Lifestealer. He doesn't actually do anything there. That's why I'm drawing some blanks here. Well,
at the very least, they're going to want to give this Gyrocopter some room so he can just free farm and have essentially a solo lane.
Right,
that would be the best thing.
They ban out the Brewmaster to help make that happen. That would be a horrible matchup.
And there's no Omni Knight either.
Yes.
It's also good.
Yes, no
for TNC in this regard. So maybe the hero that Virtus Pro picked, the Gyrocopter, can abuse. Or maybe they'll do something more aggressively. We've seen players like Arteezy go in the aggressive dual or tri-lane with the Lifestealer recently.
Right,
to just run at the enemy core.
To shake up some of these lanes. VP, they probably are looking at these this trio going, well, alright, the only real way they can make this work is to dual roam. Let's have a good matchup up against the Gyrocopter.
Yeah, but that's going to be the problem, right? It's Gyrocopter. It's hard to get a good matchup against this hero in a lot of instances.
You know, he's not that strong one-on-one, but with other people, he becomes really strong. Kunkka comes out, so...
Whoa. So is this a Sand King 3 then? Kunkka 4?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think they see this vulnerability in TNC's lineup, and they go, alright, Sand King, great laner, especially against the Gyro, low range, so he can abuse the... he can always get in range to stun.
Yeah. Caustic will be okay.
Yep, they adapt and change it up there. And there's also some synergy with the Death Prophet, right? The Ghost Ship helps tank up.
I like it.
Looks pretty darn good.
Yeah, the Kunkka is a pick that we've not seen as often in this tournament, but it's always exciting when you do see it. It's a high-skilled hero. Players like Yapsor, obviously, the most familiar on the particular hero, so...
Yep. Nice. Always a treat to watch.
Yeah, for sure. And so that's all 5 Virtus Pro's picks. Now we're just waiting on TNC's last pick, which at this point I would assume is going to be the mid laner, as they already have a Gyrocopter potentially in the safe lane. They have an Enchantress or a Nyx Assassin in the off lane. I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
Well, this last pick's going to tell us what's going on. Timber. Okay.
We'll see who plays it. It is Raven playing the Timber, so Armel's on the Gyro, it looks like, and he's going to be the mid Gyro. This is interesting, I think, for TNC.
You know, Sand King can lane quite well against Timbersaw.
That's true.
Very well, actually.
I've heard Caustic Finale is pretty good.
Especially against those melee heroes. Yeah. Timbersaw happens to be melee. Quite melee.
So, you and I are kind of scratching our heads with some of these picks for TNC.
I'm just not convinced that this lineup is going to work out because it's very unstable. If you snowball, if you can get these kills early on to pressure the map, yeah, you can blow it wide open. But if you don't really scale that well into the game because your game relies on these early movements.
Yeah.
And it just looks so unreliable when you have Lifestealer, Magic Immunity, Strength, hard to take down. Death Prophet, same thing when there's multiple units. Spirit Siphon comes out, she can tank up, hard to take down.
Cook and boat as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Who knows what'll happen though? Might be TNC. The bad news, TNC lose this game. You've just lost a game where you were ahead 30K, or rather 28K net worth against VGJ Thunder. You win that game, you move on to the playoffs. Now you're up against Virtus Pro.
That's a tilter. Imagine losing that, then losing the next consecutive game.
And then you're sitting at 2-2 and you don't know who you're going to play next. I'm assuming a very good team.
That's right.
But for Virtus Pro, same could be said for them. They lost Optic the first day. They win 2. They're feeling good about themselves. They lose this next one, and things can change drastically in their chances to get to the playoffs. So one way or the other, this game will be interesting, and I'm excited to see who comes out on top. But early on, TNC will go aggressive with all 5 heroes down into the enemy jungle. They'll drop a deep ward. It is going to block the small camp just to make sure that that pole camp is indeed de-ward, or rather warded right now for TNC, so they can get some extra pressure on the lane.
Yep. It is essentially the 5-position Enchantress with the 4-position Earth Spirit. The reason why this combo isn't that strong is because Earth Spirit's early levels, the 1 and 2, and even level 3, aren't as strong as it once used to be. Like when you see the jungle with the roaming support duo, you think Rudik probably is the most common one through history. Just because the lift into whatever creep has so much synergy. It's a great setup.
Yeah.
Earth Spirit, he's got the roll.
They will get a double Torrent, and now Cuckoo. Open Wounds comes out. They do have a nice double impale. The Nature's Attendants are going. They've got the Thunder Strike. Cuckoo will still get dropped down. Big kill for Solo with the Thunder Strike, and the Nature's Attendants has now been skilled, and that is not going to help TNC in this laning phase. And they might even find more. The TP comes out. The Torrent just misses onto Tim's, but he's able to get away to safety. But TNC, that's kind of disastrous for Cuckoo at this point in the game. That's pretty insane, actually.
Yeah.
Now, because what can he do now?
Well, Monty's gonna click him a lot.
Well,
he's throwing those spears, and he might. Things could happen.
We'll see. But it is essentially a try versus try at the start of this game for Virtus.pro and TNC. And with that kill, they have a slight advantage already. It's a 1K lead. And they get the matchup they want in the top lane for Virtus.pro as well. It's Pasha with, of course, Cosmic Finale coming later against Raven in the solo lane. And against a melee hero, I'm sure Sand King is going to love that.
Yep, it's a great matchup for the Sand King. Once he picks up some levels, he can really pressure Timbersaw. Mid lane, Gyro against DP, it's whatever, they farm, but this is the lane to talk about.
Thunder Strike comes in, the Rolling Boulder's too late. Roger is completely fine, he's got boots of speed. Solo's Clarity doesn't even get cancelled, and TNC.
That's value.
This lane, it's pretty bad now. It's not bad enough to break up this tri lane yet, though, Brax.
So, Enchantress desperately needs level 2 to get that enchant, play with the creep.
Where's she gonna get it from? It's an aggressive tri-lane where you're finding this experience, you're splitting it up between 3 heroes.
Exactly, they're just gonna have to sit there and leech. It's gonna be slow, but it'll happen eventually, right? One more creep and he has the 2.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, gonna slow down the start just a bit.
I think Virtus.pro are going to love life at the beginning of this game. You know, maybe this Raven Timbersaw does really well in the beginning.
Yeah.
But Pasha should be just fine in getting his own farm and getting back into the game.
You know, typically Timbersaw wants to just sit in the creep wave so you can tank up, stack up the armor, and then just trade hits with the other hero, but you can't do that against the Sand King.
Yeah.
Of course, you're gonna get hit by the Caustic over and over. But when there's no creeps like this, he's happy.
I suppose it is good news that you are against the strength hero in Pasha for Raven. It's one of the good things. He's actually doing a lot of damage, in fact. Raven is just trying to bully him out what he can. In the meantime, Cuckoo will find a kill onto Roger down bottom, surprisingly so.
Yeah,
looks like he might have been out of position, trying to maybe pull a camp, try to go for a rune.
That's the tomato creep, big thunderclap.
And now he's got the enchant up, and yeah, the thunderclap coming in. He's actually going to take the smaller Hellbear and get the extra last hit for himself. So, okay, now stabilizing this bottom lane, Brax.
Yes, stabilizing for now. Because VP will come back with full mana.
Oh, Burrow Strike, Raven getting low. He doesn't have the 10 reactive armor. That is a triple Torrent, though, and Cuckoo will fall again. Brax is in with the Rage and the open moves, and now Tim's trying to find the fight. Roger taunting his way to victory. The Rolling Boulder, he sidesteps it. Roger was ready, and he's going to get back to his tower, maybe even back to the base to heal up.
Oh, man. That's rough.
That's a good taunt right there, let me tell you.
Roger somehow lands the 3-man Torrent without any real setup.
The godlike Torrent.
Yep. That's incredible.
Roger and VP feeling good in this bottom lane. The Thunder Strike constantly being spammed by this Disruptor. It might be one of those games where you get like level 2 Thunder Strike, I feel like, because of the laning phase.
Yeah, just more damage, kill out the squishy Enchantress. But for TNC, this game is just how much pressure can they apply in this lane, because there's no other place they can really go. I
mean, and once the Sand King starts really doing well for Virtus.pro, they're going to lose all 3 lanes. Look at the mid lane matchup. No one has 20 last hits. The Gyrocopter is 10. Armel is down 1 level against no one, and the Crypt Swarms are starting to deal some damage, and no one almost can kill him here in a moment, especially if he gets a rotation. This is, I don't want to call it disastrous, but it's pretty bad for TNC at the start of this game.
Yeah, mid lane not going so well. They're off lane. While they are applying a lot of pressure, Ramses is still basically free farming, and they're getting kills on top of it.
Yeah.
So, I guess, you know, it's still early into lane phase, right?
But you were mentioning where can these heroes go for TNC? Well, Cuckoo, he might be going to the grave. The kinetic field comes out. The shockwave coming in. It doesn't really do anything. Cuckoo gets the Torrent from Roger again. Of course, the kill will be split, but I don't think it really matters one way or the other. I mean, Cuckoo will still fall. Ramses was there to secure it. And that is a 4th kill for Virtus.pro at the start of this laning phase.
Whew. Thought this may sound extremely obvious and stupid, but every time TNC fail to get a kill or pressure this lane, it just gets harder and harder, right? Because that's that much more time where Enchantress is sitting there in the lane, basically playing as a laning support with the creep instead of farming in the jungle to get item, to get some more levels up, right?
And I mean, you said it. Where do they go? Armel almost going to get torrented, but he just sidesteps it around the other side of the tower. Luckily enough, had he got hidden by that torrent, he probably dies to a quick swarm or something. So, but the Enchantress Cuckoo is dropping deep wards and going all the way around, maybe just trying to jungle at this point, because I don't think you can do anything else, really. I don't know. I mean, they're about to spot him, actually. They see that the Wild Wing is over here. There's the Hellbear. It'll get off the Thunderclap slow. Solo's going to come up with the Thunder Strike. They do have
manning up.
Agents of Tannins. They've got the X-Marks Torrent combination coming in, but Solo's getting really low. He has 2 charges, but the Rolling Boulder comes in, and they might actually find the skill. The sticks are there. The Thunderclap comes out. They don't even really need it. It's Tim's that gets the job done. Now they're turning onto Roger. Tim's getting low, but they won't be able to bring this Kunkka down. That's a nice little play. It's support getting dropped. It's not the end of the world for Virtus.pro, but TNC finally getting back on the board.
Yep, and maybe they can make something happen mid lane with a potential rotation, but I don't think it's going to happen when no one's sitting on such high health and Armel's not. What are they going to do? Come and gank with a or for 150 health Gyrocopter and hope they can kill?
I mean, it's feeling like they got to try something. They will rotate Tim's around. He's level 3 now. The top lane matchup is pretty even still. Raven's still getting a lot out of this, and that's good news. But again, it's not like he's stopping Pasha at this point in the game.
Right, both heroes are getting exactly what they want. Pasha's going to have a super early Blink Dagger if he chooses to go for that.
One way they could annoy the mid lane, throw up the Wild Wing, give him the dance. The tornado damage onto no one will be a little bit frustrating. Tim's is invis also.
Yeah.
There's a lot of heroes here for Virtus.pro. We'll see who gets the initiation.
The
homing missile is coming in. Roger is there. The rolling bolt. They want this kill. They've got the rocket barrage. It's going to be close. No one will fall. They've got the kinetic field. The epicenter getting channeled. Pasha is in. They'll find Cuckoo and Davey Armel. And yes, they will even find a third. The glimpse back is there onto Tim's. Going to be a 2-for-1 trade, maybe a 3-for-1 if they can find this Burst Strike. Tim's is trying to juke through, but the Burst Strike will find him. They've got the Torrent follow-up as well. The Thunder Strike coming out. This should be more than enough damage. The Fairy Fire comes in. The Rolling Boulder is blocked by Roger. What a play! And Tim's will get rocked down on top of it.
Yep, well played to no one. See, keeping the spirits high. They know that they're doing very well. 2K goalie with 7 minutes. Pretty difficult to come back from, but TNC, they need levels desperately. Right, Tim's level 3 on his Earth Spirit. Well, you know, it's pretty normal to be level 3 at this time of the game on a 4-position hero. It's just, they need more. They can't really make any moves just because, you know, top lane is static. Mid lane is difficult for TNC to gank just because of the advantage Death Prophet has over the Gyrocopter.
Oh, Tim's been caught with a glimpse. Actually, it was the X-Marks coming out. The glimpse is still available. Kinetic Field actually only goes on to Cuckoo, and now Tim's is going to try to turn this, but Ramses is coming in. Surprisingly enough, he's still here. Go back to farming down bottom. Tim's, they'll drop a ward down. They've got the ensnare onto Roger. That will come, but where's the follow-up damage? There's one auto attack, and that's it.
Yep, just tell him to back off.
The Sand King just brought a full veil. He has to burrow strike away from Raven with the Chakram. Now the Timber Chain. Raven's still chasing him down, and Pasha actually in trouble here. Raven has a full Hood of Defiance. This could be big if he could find this kill onto Pasha. The Chakram coming in, but Pasha is able to snag the bounty and get out. Looks like he will fall, though. Raven's able to track him down with the Timber Chain, along with a couple of other abilities being used. Down bottom, they're looking for more. The Torrent comes in. That will be Sam H getting dropped. One more auto attack. The Ensnare will not save his life, and Ramses will back up and away. They have the Hurl Boulder coming in from the Mud Golem, but that's not going to do enough damage to get the kill. So 1-1 across the board for both teams.
Pretty big solo kill. He buys out the Veil so he doesn't lose any gold. Interesting. Goes to the Veil instead of the Blink. I like that he buys a different item rather than the Blink, because with such a good start, you don't really want to play like that Blink Initiator starting from the 10-minute mark, which means because you would stop your progression. You wouldn't be farming a lane because you want to be running around with that Blink Dagger. While it is important, it's also very important to play more like a core. Up in the face, push out these lanes. That Veil makes you a bit stronger.
You can see he wanted to be active already. I mean, he just TP'd in mid with smoke. He didn't find anything with it, but he tried for Pasha. So the Veil goes unused. He'll just waddle his way back to the top lane. And all this while, Ramses is free farming. He's not quite at the level that Pasha and Timbersaw are at, but he's still having a great old time on Ramses' Lifestealer.
Yep, free farm for all 3 cores from VP.
Alright, what are we looking at in terms of the supports? So the Enchantress, as expected, is pretty poor.
Oh no. Just some sandals and a stick.
Now, she's not really happy for Cuckoo. Armel up to boots of speed and an Aquila, but he is about 1,000 behind No One. And No One's doing okay. He's not getting free farm, but he is he has been taken down once. Meanwhile, they will get the kill on the Courier. The Radiant Courier will fall. Jungle. I think Sam H came in with a Vendetta, and that's what did it. So that is at least something for TNC.
Yeah, with that Courier kill, they bring back the goal lead just a bit more. You know, it's a bit closer now. Only 1K at 9.5 minutes. Respectable.
I mean, if they can get some room for the shower copter, and my thought process is if this Timbersaw can start doing some serious work on this map, it could be a big turnaround for TNC, and Raven is in a good position to do so. Yeah,
he's approaching that point where he can just tank the creep wave plus the tower and sit there and eventually bring it down. The slow burn, the 15 damage, right clicks on the tower over and over. Also went for the hood, so he's tanky.
Pasha did a good job. He cut the wave, I believe, and just burrow struck it and caustic finality, and that means there's no wave to push into the tier 1 of the top lane. In the meantime, mid lane, Armel will get Spirit Sight from the Exorcism. The Torrent actually misses. He's got the call and he doesn't use it. The last Crypt Swarm coming in a moment. They don't even need it as Pasha walks right on in, helps get the claw, but it's the Exorcism that does the job for No One. And now this will transition maybe into the tier 1, but the wave is pushed in at their own tier 1. So maybe not.
Man, it's so hard for TNC to make a move. Right? Like, how can they start an engagement? When you look at the heroes, you think, oh, well, they have Gyrocopter. This hero rotates around the map, it makes things happen, smoke plays and everything, but when he's in the mid lane, it's a whole different role, right? You're laning up against this Death Prophet. If you rotate around, you lose your tower to the Exorcism.
Sam H is Vendetta. He is stalking No One. The Exorcism is done, but he misses the Impale.
Oh, no.
And that is a big critical gank avoided by No One. He's able to get out of trouble.
Mott, that's how they make plays, and now they have to wait for that Vendetta cooldown before they can attempt again.
They have all of these deep wards for TNC. They had another one at the jungle, but I think it just went away, and they can't really use them. The vision is not going to be really helpful. They have actually 2 wards in the same area in the mid lane, too. TNC, with all this vision, they can't really accomplish anything with it. And that gank is pretty significant. It's really good for knowing that he avoided it. The Exorcism was done. He's able to continue farming instead of losing gold and not being able to get that quick Yule Scepter. And again, it's still just Ramses farming up. Raven is the big target. They're going to roll in onto Ramses. He's going to go for the Rage TP, and they cannot find this kill. They didn't have the lockdown that they needed to secure it. The Sam H Nyx Assassin was not there for the Impale follow-up.
Yep, unable to find the kill. And they had a lane ward, so that means he knew. Right, that rage is fast.
Solo's in trouble. The silence came in, nicely done, but he still has the glimpse. He will try to get it off, but it doesn't really send Raven that far. And now they can pressure this tower, and that's at least one thing TNC can do.
Yeah, but look what's happening on the other side from that. VP already playing in both these lanes. They pushed out the mid, hit the tower a little bit. Now they're cutting a wave up top too. Good response to the 5-man, well, I guess 4-man from TNC, but you know, that wasn't a smoke. So they weren't able to find the kill. Right? If they kill Ramses, he's not going to rage TP up to the top lane and do the exact same thing they're doing. And they would get much more out of it.
Impale, Roger, it's just a support, but if they can find the kill, maybe start things off, go for more. No One is in Viz. He's got extra back up in 6 seconds. The Glimpse will come back in. The Epicenter getting chipped. They've got the Static Storm. Armel's in trouble. The Burrow Strike coming out. There's the Veil. The Crypt Swarm. Armel will fall. Big pickup for Virtus Pro. The Courier coming over as well. But Cuckoo now trying to fight. He'll drop that Aegis Attendance, but there are 3 heroes here for Virtus Pro, but he's still running in. I'm not sure what he wants to do for TNC. Raven is there. They want to try to find something. Roger will be the target. Not really the best kill for TNC. Kill nonetheless, and they will find it for Raven, which gets him even more farm. And he is the one hero that is having an amazing game for TNC.
That was pretty crazy. Cuckoo level 4 Enchantress at first ended 3 heroes. VP freaked out. They're like, good God, what's going on?
What's he doing here?
This makes no sense. And of course, they just use their abilities, so they're not going to blindly chase this hero for another 5 seconds, so Burrow Strike comes back up. So they walk away, and Roger thinks, oh, well, I can get the flank here. I can come back in, get some heroes with the X-Mark Torrent. But, yeah, well played from TNC.
And they get those extra wards down in the jungle, those deep wards to help the Nyx Assassin find those ganks. But now you have to worry about Virtus Pro's timing. The armlet is done for Ramses. The Blink Dagger now picked up on Pasha in just a moment, and that's the vehicle. Meanwhile, down bottom, the Impale comes out. Solo in trouble, the Hurl Boulder, and he will pull again. Solo getting dropped down, and Raven finds a second kill on the Rasha. Both supports going down, and now they'll pressure the Tier 1 tower. They have 2 Mud Golems. They've got a creep wave here. This Tier 2 could fall quickly if Virtus Pro aren't careful.
TNC found the gas button. It's go time.
It is, and it's all based on Raven. It has to be.
Yep. Timbersize hit that, I don't want to say his peak, because he still continues to get stronger into the game, but this is that moment where he is very, very difficult to take down, and he can just push out these lanes without a care in the world and set up some of these plays. You know, he's got no stuns or anything, no slows, but he puts your heroes in a position where you can find those movements.
Yes, and that's what they need to play around for TNC. By the way, they did TP in Pasha down bottom. Pasha was immediately pinged, and he's walking over a ward now. You would have to assume they know that he's got a Blink Dagger. They continue to ping on him with Armel, the Gyrocopter, doing it. So Pasha's Blink Dagger has been revealed one way or the other.
That's
he had the Life Stealer inside of him, too.
That's supposed to be the big surprise play.
Yeah, and that's avoided by TNC. But that is the issue for TNC. If they jump on Raven with this Infest gank, the Burrow Strike, the Veil, the Infest Bomb, no one's Crypt Swarm, it'll be enough damage to bring Raven down, and that's all that net worth gone. But TNC, they're in the jungle with Cuckoo. He is here alone. More vision down.
Beauty of vision, mods.
Of rather for Armel was the significant problem. He could have gotten out. Meanwhile, Raven getting chewed up by Ramses in the top lane. Raven needs to be a little careful. This Life Stealer starting to do some work, but they're surrounding him. There's the Vendetta Impale. They've got the Nyx Assassin Mana Burn first, and they blow Ramses away. Now dead for 45. The rest of the heroes have TP'd top, but it looks like they're backing up, realizing, okay, maybe we can't find this. There's the 3 Centaur Conqueror train for Cuckoo. Look at this, man. He's got the Enchantress Centaur Conqueror train. He's just going to be able to try to find the triple stomp, but that's easier said than done, especially when he loses his 1 Centaur in 5 seconds.
He's got the whole family.
Yeah, seriously. They're twins.
Usually it's so difficult.
Oh, he misses the first. Pasha coming in. They've got the Spirit Siphon. Cuckoo in trouble. And he's going to get glimpsed back. Poor Cuckoo. He had the Centaur Conqueror train, but it's just going to get cleared up. Sam H gets Ghost Ship, but he had the Spike Carapace up in time. Spirit Siphon's still going. They have the Blink Burrow from Pasha. The Centaur Conqueror Stomp will not keep him alive. It's going to be a 2-for-1 trade, as of course Ramses did die earlier, but Cuckoo getting rather aggressive, and he pays with his life for it.
Yep. Oh, man. These deaths just in the jungle for TNC really just, once that sort of thing happens, they lose so much momentum. Right now there's no longer that threat of the Nyx Assassin running around on the map. Excuse me. Usually it's pretty difficult to take down Life Stealer, but
well, they've got the silence and the stun now. They've got the Magnetize, they've got the Centaur Conqueror Stomp, and they've got Raven getting the kill. The TP coming in from Pasha. He needs to be careful. He's got the Blink Dagger. They drop the stone down, but they don't want to go any further under the Tier 1 tower.
That's back-to-back deaths for Ramses. I think Life Stealer difficult to take down, but with the Earth Spirit Sons, with the Nyx Assassin Impale from the Invis, right? Not gonna be able to reach that.
It's almost one of those situations where you're like, maybe I should build Manta. Obviously, they don't want to do that, and you have an SMY on the Ramses Life Stealer coming soon, but
sometimes we do see that, especially against a lot of the Orchid buyers like Burium.
Yeah, I don't think it's as big of a deal this game. It's just Earth Spirit. You just have to avoid Tims, essentially.
Yeah.
And the SMY will also make him tanky and more capable of surviving. Meanwhile, bottom lane, they found a double burrow strike from Pasha as he's getting chased down by Sam H. The Spike Carapace somehow doesn't actually tick onto Pasha, and he's able to blink away. That was a beautiful blink timing from him, and it might secure his retreat. They're chasing him down, but Pasha's already back to the tier 2 tower. He's going for the TP, and Sam H, I think they don't have the vision to see him. They did, it was just a second too late, and he wasn't able to find the Impale.
Yep, Pasha just making space. And look at this, it's Roshan time. They've got the medallion with the level 2 Death Prophet ultimate.
I think you were mentioning earlier that you liked this build. It was you or Webhouse, I'm not sure who.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this Solar Crest build on Death Prophet.
It's good for the early Roche taking. Yep. And that's what we're seeing now. And TNC are coming in smoked up, though. They've got the call down, they've got the flat cannon, they've got Tims with the magnetize up in 12, but not quite yet. The Infest comes into the Hellbear. He's going to Infest out. Roche is low. The Bash comes in. Now they've got the epicenter. No one will grab the Aegis, and this is trouble for TNC. But Ramsey's trying to run and looking for Cuckoo. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Roger will buy back. Ramsey gets ensnared. The Impale coming in the static storm. No one, though. The Spirit Side for the Exorcism coming back into the perfect time. And now they've got the Burrow Strike. They found Armel, and Raven might be next. The Gosha comes in. Roger with that buyback. They've got the silence. He's able to Timber Chain away. Ramsey is looking for more. He's got the armlet toggle. The Chakram will come out. The Timber Chain, the Torrent misses, but Raven in trouble. And Pasha gets off the Burrow Strike. The Crep Swarm. It's 4 dead. No one looking for more. They might find all 5. Pasha's out of mana, but I don't think they really need it. The X-Marks is going to bring him back in. The Torrent is there, and it's going to be a double kill for no one. Virtus Pro, not only do they take Roshan, but they get the best fight of the game so far, Brax.
That timing on when the Spirits came back to Death Prophet was so good.
Yeah.
Happened to heal him all the way back up to full HP. All of a sudden, all this effort you put into taking away DP's age is just gone.
That was critical for Virtus Pro. What a well fought out fight. And we'll see it again here. I mean, they roll in. I thought they're going to go for it. They actually get the Infest off in time from Ramses. They blow up the Hellbear Smasher, who could have came in.
There's just
did
no
a thunderclap.
You know?
Yeah.
They're too far away. They can't actually walk into the pit because the Exorcism's still going off. Earth Spirit's just unable to get in
look
there.
at that heal. That's unbelievable timing for no one.
Yep.
That's incredible.
And you know, as nice as it looked, it wasn't really a difference maker in the fight. Just a nice thing to save the Aegis, right?
Exactly, yeah. It would have been a nice little kill for TNC, but it wouldn't have given them anything other than the Aegis down.
Exactly.
But
we've reached a point with TNC's lineup where, yeah, Raven's pretty strong, pretty tanky, high level as well. But where's the follow-up damage, right? We've got the off-lane Nyx Assassin, who's entirely a utility hero with the stun and mana burn and scouting with the vision and everything.
Yeah. Not
the highest damage hero. Enchantress from a support position with this level of farm, not a whole lot of damage. Earth Spirit, same thing. And then Gyro typically does a lot of damage, but with this level of farm, it's just not there.
Meanwhile, both teams moving together. TNC smokes, looking for something, but it's going to be Virtus Pro that are moving in with the Exorcism in the mid lane, trying to take down the tier 2 tower. TNC doesn't look like they're going to find anything. They might come all the way around to the mid lane, but they're backing up. They might want to make the call to split push bottom. They're trying to decide what they want to do. They might just let this tower go. This tier 2 is pretty much already dead at this point. I think the glyph was already used. It was.
They might just want to sit around and fight once Exorcism runs out.
Here comes the wrap. Nyx Assassin's there. They've got the Centaur. Pasha has the Lifestealer inside of him. No one's there. Blink from Pasha. They find the Burrow Strike. They find the Infest out. Cuckoo's already dead. Chakram comes in. This looks to be a bad fight for Raven. And he's dying. Virtus is actually doing some serious work. Good Impale on the 2, but now Raven is in trouble. Static Storm, Ghost Ship. He'll be dropped down. TNC have lost 2. They might lose the 3rd as Samage gets silenced up. The Burrow Strike is there. Virtus Pro playing as 5. Another 3 kills along with the tier 2 tower and maybe more. Yes, they don't have Exorcism, but forcing out a Raven buyback could be game-ending here for TNC if you're not careful.
That was also an Arcane Rune Death Prophet ultimate.
Epicenter getting channeled. They've got the ward on Tims. The vision, plenty of damage. The Torrent follow-up from Roger. It's a 7k lead for Virtus Pro, and now the tier 3 under siege with no glyph available. All of a sudden, Brax, Virtus Pro are on the edge of taking this game, getting into the playoffs for the Bucharest Major.
I'm just not saying a lot. There's no way for them to take a fight on their terms. There's no way for them to set it up.
Out, and that is going to be a dead Armel. Dead for 55. This is not looking to be the Gyrocopter Rapier game we are so used to seeing in this tournament. Kinetic field onto Cuckoo. They want to bring him down, but more importantly, they want to bring the buildings down. Ramses is going to work with the SMY. The Impale and Mana Burn will come. The Burrowstrike follow-up with Pasha is there to start things off in the fight. The Crypt Swarm, they've got the X-Mark back. They got the Torrent. That should be enough damage to secure the kill, and it will be. They get the melee racks, and Virtus Pro know that they don't want to take too much, so they will back themselves up to safety, and they will all TP home or to the jungle.
Very conservative, very well-structured and disciplined gameplay from VP. Not going for the melee racks after that, even though they had the Death Prophet ultimate. They know it's better just to reset, go back, get these lanes out. We've already built a big enough advantage. We can just play our game. Probably win. I mean, they have so much water.
You don't want to forget about the comeback that Optic had against Virtus Pro in the first day of action.
Yeah.
The difference there is that the Gyrocopter for Pycat in that game,
he was super fun.
He was jacked, and it wasn't a Timber Saw. It was a hero that could actually do physical damage once he got the Rapier. But there's just no way the Gyrocopter's getting a Rapier anytime soon. He needs a BKB first. Maybe he gets Rapier after that, but even if he gets it, it's not going to be enough damage, I think.
Yeah,
it just feels like they're so far down. Even
when he has BKB, if he gets Blink Sand Stun from Fog and he's unable to get BKB off, it's just, he's going to die.
Yeah.
You know, it's the Lifestealer inside of him. It's just, he needs so many items to deal with VP's lineup. And I don't see a way for them to get there. Aegis is out, so that is one potential opening.
I mean, no one is building into an Aeon disc.
Yep.
And I don't think you can kill them when that happens. They already have little damage, as we discussed earlier, but they're going to have even more to deal with now once the Aeon disc is up. They will get the Courier with Sam H, which is a nice little pickup, some extra gold to go your way. It's now a 9k lead instead of a 10k lead, but you're losing all of your towers. There's a tier 2 top, but the tier 2 and the tier 1 bottom are going to die.
Yep, and TNC are going to be forced to take a fight on their high ground. They need to defend. There's no way they can afford to give this up and just try to keep farming. But yeah, Ravens farmed. Armel needs a few more items so we can actually deal some damage, and I guess they have some basic items on their supports. We got a force down.
Center getting channeled to jump in. There's the Blink Burrow Strike combination, and Cuckoo explodes and magic damage. The Static Storm. They will have the Ghost Ship and the X-Marks coming back, which means Raven's in trouble. He can't really afford to die. He's getting low. The Yule Scepter will keep him up for now. The Spirit Siphon still going with the Exorcism. There's a great Burrow Strike from Pasha, and he's dead. But only for 16, as I believe he has the Bloodstone to work with. So it's not that bad, but they've already lost so much in this engagement. Sam H will get silenced up and chewed down by Ramses, who open wounds and steals all the life away from him. It's an 11k lead for Virtus Pro. They want to continue on. They want to push the tier 3 tower. It is backdoor protected, though. Good news for TNC, and no one getting a little bit low, but they cannot chase him down as Virtus Pro play together on the opposite high ground.
Yeah, Exorcism's out, and that's that.
They just get so much more, though. Virtus Pro are...
Yeah, they do.
Every fight, they get more out of it.
A buyback on the Enchantress as well. A ton of Bloodstone charges being cleared out of Timber Saws. And just look at the fights, right? What actually can they do to make something happen in these team fights? It doesn't feel like there's anything.
Not really much, if anything at all, yeah.
Virtus Pro walk up with Death Prophet. If any hero comes too close, then there's just the epicenter potential. Saw the solo kill, and then Lifestealer walks up and attacks the base too. There's just not a whole lot of response.
And it all comes down to this try line, I feel like, for TNC at the beginning of the game. They didn't get too much accomplished.
Yeah.
Raven had a very good lane, but he is not able to carry this game on the Timber Saw, at least not yet. They've got to get more. This BKB for Armel, like you mentioned, it might not even do that much, but at least he will have it here in the near future, as Virtus Pro's Pasha is going to deny him that with a Nullifier coming out, but it'll take a while for him to get there at the very least.
Okay. Pretty good Nullifier carrier. Blink Stun into the Nullifier, and a good way to apply it, especially with the Lifestealer bomb.
Yeah, it's
usually we see it on the Lifestealer, but Pasha's so farmed on his Sinking that he can afford to start working on it.
They'll get there eventually if the game goes long enough. And I think it's a good item choice because it just feels like the game winner.
Yeah.
You know, the game-winning item. They don't need it necessarily this game, but it's the item that will close out the game for them if it gets to that late game situation again for Virtus Pro.
And it's just such a high-impact item, right?
There is one tier 2 tower left in the top lane, and it is low. And with a couple of auto attacks, no one will finish it off. The Radiant Courier will respawn. The Gyrocopter has picked up his BKB, and if they want to fight, they're going to have to do it at their high ground. TNC are grouped up together in the enemy jungle, trying to keep the waves pushed in, so that forces Solo back. And maybe they can find Pasha, who actually has the epicenter rolling. They have a Radiant Ward, they've got the Burrow Strike, and they blow up the Nyx Assassin. And I mean blow up.
Oh yeah. Big time blow.
Squashed. And the Aeon disc now done for no one. They're looking for more. They thought there were heroes TPing in the jungle, but they've already backed up the TNC back to their base or on the opposite side of the river.
Yep, now it's just a matter of VP getting their lanes out in a way that TNC can't just avoid them. They've taken all the outer towers, picked up all that extra free gold. No one's about to complete his item. Yep, there it is.
I suppose theoretically Virtus Pro could wait for Roshan. It's only 30 seconds away. They don't know that, obviously, but...
Yeah, they definitely could.
And I'm not sure TNC can afford giving up Asian cheese. Not that I don't think they can do anything about it.
Yeah, TNC are already struggling to take fights inside their base, outside of the base, where VP can ward up and take control over that area. It's just going to be even harder for them to take that fight, so just not worth it. They have to sit in base and attempt to fight into the Aegis and cheese.
I mean, Raven's going to have one heck of a fight in order to be able to win one, or even get something going mildly in TNC's favor.
They know.
They have the Centaur Conqueror trying to scout things out, and no one will take it down with the Solar Crest and one more auto attack. Ooh, actually gets close, 18 HP, not that it really matters. The Exorcism will be popped. It is only level 2 Exorcism, as he's only level 17. But again, I don't really think TNC can get there. There's just no way. It's already getting low on Roshan.
Yeah, it's dying so fast. It doesn't even matter.
So Virtus Pro will more than likely wait for the next Exorcism cooldown. They'll keep the waves pushed out, and it's checklist Dota at this point for Virtus Pro.
That's right. Patience is the name of the game. Do we have our buttons? No? Alright, we're not going then.
TNC with an aggressive smoke maneuver.
Yep.
Maybe they can get something out of this. Ramses is not really the target they want to go for.
He's such a hard hero to go for, right?
He has Aegis, so...
Yep. If they go for him and VP's around...
Roger now spots Cuckoo. They get off the Impale, though. The Chakras will come through, but he's rather tanky. Rage gets up the time. There's the open wounds. And the Ghost Ship say goodbye to Cuckoo. The Epicenter getting channeled. The Veil drops down now. That'll be a double kill. Damage will fall. Again, the Bug getting squashed once more. Armel popped the BKB to no avail. The Eul Scepter back onto Raven. The static storm goes, but he's out of it, actually. He will Eul himself up. He was out of the kinetic field, at least for the moment. The Burrow Strike is there. The Torrent. And Ramses' auto attack damage with the Spirit Siphon is more than enough to get the kill. He's dead for 38. He has no buyback, and Virtus Pro will march straight down mid and head to top right after.
Yep. At least TNC attempted to make a play before the Exorcism came up. They knew it was their best shot. We need to make something happen now, or else VP are just going to wait for their cooldowns and run down mid. That's why that Centaur Conqueror scouting the Roshan pit was nice, because it scouted that Death Prophet use the ultimate. But they're just way too far behind to even put up a competitive fight.
It's too big a disadvantage, and it'll only get harder now that the Sand King has picked up the Nullifier. The Gyrocopter's BKB is on cooldown anyway for another 20 seconds. They don't even really need to use it on it, but they want to. If Cuckoo even walks out, he might just die to Ramses with one auto attack. Yeah. It's actually the most frightening thing in the world.
You know, it's one of those situations, Ma, where, yeah, it's probably a bad fight, but if we don't take it now, it's going to be even worse in a minute and a half when Exorcism comes up, right?
Exactly. And Exorcism will be in now 25 seconds, so he also has cheese to work with. They'll take the shrines. And it was, I think a lot of people, especially Virtus Pro fans, were concerned. They go down 0-1 to Optic. It was a very close game, but Virtus Pro have looked amazing since then. They've won every one of their games. They're about to win this one. They're up 20K, and short of a monumental collapse or a gigantic comeback for TNC, all they really need to do is just be patient and get the rest of the buildings taken care of for Virtus Pro.
Yep. Go down the checklist.
There's a good work to spot out no one, but he seems to be aware of something. They've got Solo behind him. Armel, Solo, that is a dead Disruptor. A nice pick. The silence comes out too little too late. That might slow things down for Virtus Pro, so some extra time for TNC to get maybe a fight set up as they're looking for Ramses and Pasha, who's invisible. Blink Burrow onto 2, the Nullfire's about to come out there. Armel just has to run. He can't fight without his BKB, and the rest of his team will do the same. The root onto Tim's from the Ancient Prowler Shaman, but he will be able to roll away with the Rolling Boulder. On the other side of the fight, they've got Nyx Assassin locked down. The Ghost Ship came in. Nullifier is there. That is a dead hero.
That pesky Ancient Prowler Shaman.
Yeah, that Prowler Shaman almost brought him down.
I feel like you just like to say Ancient Prowler Shaman.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. People don't know what it's called. It's been in the game for a bit, but they don't know what it's called.
It's good to know what it's called.
Yeah.
I can appreciate it.
Armel X marks about to be torrented. His BKB is up. He will use it. The Epicenter comes out in time, but not before Armel is able to get the BKB off. So he'll try to fight with call down. No one will get the Aeon disc pop. There's the silence. Good stun onto 3. The Magnetize, the Impale. That's the Aegis gone. The burst strike there. They've lost no one. This is so far a good fight. And now they're going to find Pasha, who's dead for 73 as well. Ramses is going to work on the buildings. He knows he just needs to get this racked. And at the very least, that'll give them some more to work with. He will back himself up. They have the boulder smash coming in. Raven is there. He's got a triple kill. He's about to get an ultra. They won't give it to him. Instead, they will give it to Sam H, who gets the wicked 6 free. But the damage has been done. They've lost the mid racks. They've lost the melee racks at the top lane. They only really have 2 buildings left before the tier 4s. So,
good God. That Earth Spirit stuff was so good.
Yeah, that was nice.
Clip 3 of them, especially after the disc. You know,
well, check it out. I mean,
here we go.
This is the best you could get.
It looked really awkward with that BKB coming out, right? But then TNC managed to bait VP in. Look at this big Earth Spirit stun.
It was a great silence. Ramses was ready to go, but he actually got low from the flat cannon call down combination. And then at that point, no one, of course, just gets dropped. Ramses' Aegis is gone. He can only really work on the racks. He did get the melee racks. If they only lose a tier 3 for that, that's a lot better for TNC. At the end of the day, though, it was still like a 6,000 net worth swing, I think, when it was all said and done.
Exactly. With that extra gold, they can make these team fights a bit closer. It is VP focusing down the buildings, but that team fight was very well executed from TNC. They managed to get the triple stun with the boulder smash, and then the triple impale on top of it afterwards.
Pasha's going to walk into the rest of TNC. They have spotted him out with an observer ward. He is dead for 72. He has no buyback. The gem is now on the side of TNC. The flat cannon will clear out the creep wave. They want the tier 2 tower. And so now you're fighting 4 versus 5 for another 60 seconds, excuse me.
Look what's in our helicopter man's inventory.
I think I have an understanding. I think I know without having to click it, but we'll click it just in case and show you that it is in fact the Divine Rapier, which he's about 1,000 gold away from.
Yeah, if they can get that Rapier, that's step 1 to the comeback, right?
There, I don't know. I thought this game was just done. They're down to a full set of racks and a full set and a half of racks, in fact.
They are down a shit ton. It's only 9,000 gold, but their base is gone.
Yeah, the gold is not as much as it was yesterday with BGA Thunder versus TNC. The patch of the comeback, the patch of the Gyrocopter Rapier, potentially, maybe again. Maybe he needs 2, maybe he needs 3 like Freeze did yesterday. The question is, will he get to that point? And the answer is probably not. But if he gets to the Rapier, who knows what can happen. The damage will come out. He has an SMY to work with, so he already has at least okay damage.
Yep. You know, VP have some good tools at dealing with the Rapier.
He has the Rapier. He has the Rapier now. Yeah, he wanted buyback. Okay, this is where the Nullifier comes into play that we were talking about, though.
Yep. Sand King with the Nullifier and the Infest from Ramses' Lifestealer. If that happens, he's going to melt. There's no defensive abilities or capabilities. There's a Force Staff, but I don't think it's going to be enough to actually save Gyrocopter.
Yeah,
so he's got to be extremely careful and far back in these fights before he comes into it.
Even with BKB, Gyrocopter may have flat cannon, but he is also a glass cannon.
Yes,
no satanic.
At the early
stages of the game.
That's usually the big thing, right? The satanic. Once Gyrocopter has those rapiers, he gets gone on, lives with the sliver of health, manages to turn it. So he's got a little ways to go. Building into that Lincoln Sphere will help him deal with the Sank initiation.
Well, this might be it for TNC. It's do or die now, as it looks like Virtus Pro are grouping together in the top lane. Again, that Nullifier is ready for Pasha. They have the Infest Bomb into the Sand King. Blink Force, whose travels well, makes him pretty speedy for Pasha. That's the initiation they're looking for. Armel's job is to not get nullified, essentially, and that is easier said than done.
Look at how far back he's sitting. He knows that just looking.
Blink Burrow, they found him, but Armel pops BKB in time. The Black Cannon going. They've already dropped Cuckoo. I don't think they're really that worried. No one did use his Aeon Disc. They're trying to find more. The Exorcism will go. No one pops his own BKB, but Armel's BKB is done, and now you need to consider backing. Trying to bait up the Exorcism. If you lose the range rack's top, it's not that big of a deal, but losing Mega's bottom might be the significant portion.
Yes, they might want to just forfeit this fight and go back down to bottom lane to defend that so they can try to play again with Gyro has his BKB up. If they die here, this could be game.
Sam H. Armel's trying to do some work here. The rolling boulder in from Tim's. There's 2 dead. Sam H with no buyback. The Ghost Ship coming through as well. Actually misses. The Gem's on the deck. Virtus Pro should back up together as a team and stay safe, and I think they'll do just that for now. Ramses actually going back in with no one. No one will heal up momentarily as the Ghost comes back to him.
Yeah.
Armel, the burst strike coming through. They found Raven. This could be a big kill to Nullifier, but he's able to get the Timber Chain away. The call down. They've got the static from the X-Mark back, and Raven is dead. No buyback. He's down for 42. It's not that long of a time, but when you're losing your base, feels like ages. They have lost Megas at this point, and now they're going to find Cuckoo yet again. Virtus Pro, they've taken 3. Armel, I don't care if you've got the helicopter rapier. I don't think it's going to be enough. He gets nullified. He's getting run at by Ramses. It's a double kill, and it's all about to be 5 dead, and TNC will GG. They've lost 2 in a row, and Virtus Pro make their way into the playoffs, Brags.
Even with the rapier, still can't fight those other items that we've seen in the other previous games, like the Satanic, Butterfly, even Scotty and some of them. Just wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough damage.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just him, maybe Raven, but they found a way to deal with him. They're able to lock him down with the Static Storm, the Ulster.
Scaling damage to deal